starting a practical based on the prism. Okay, so if you see the prism here, the total prism has total 5 faces are there. Okay, so if you see the face, this is 1, 2, 3. These are all rectangular faces. The above, that is this face and this face, it is a triangular face. That means there are 3 rectangular faces and there are 2 triangular faces. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to do the refraction through a prism. Okay, for that I will be doing a practical. So what are the things required? Okay, so let us see. Okay, our experiment is to determine the angle of minimum deviation for a given prism by plotting a graph between angle of incidence and the angle of deviation. So if you consider here the refractive index formula, we have the sine of angle of prism plus angle of minimum deviation by 2 divided by sine A by 2. Okay, so we have to use this formula and we have to calculate the refractive index. So if you see the diagram here, so this is your diagram. So we will be doing it for the different angles like angle of incidence 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. We will be doing it for that one. Then we will be seeing what is the angle of deviation for the separate angles. Okay, so we will be trying it one by one. So let us see if I see the table. This is an observation table. So the serial number, we have to do 6 observation from 35 to 60, and angle of deviation we have to mark it. After marking it, at last we will be getting a graph. We have to draw that graph. Let us see how to do it. What are the apparatus required? So these are the apparatus that is required for the practical. We need a prism, we need a protractor, pencil, we need 4 pins, paper pins, then we need a scale, okay, for doing the measurement. Let us see how to do it. First of all, you have to draw a straight line. As you can see here, one straight line I have drawn it here. Then you put the prism, okay, but the prism, what we have to do, you have to put the triangular face on this line. Okay, as soon as you place on this line, as you can see, this line I have marked it here. This is your line. Then after that, what we have to do, you have to mark the edges of the prism. So let us mark the edges of the prism. So you can see I have marked the edges of the prism. This is first, I'll be doing it for 30, 35 degree, 40 degree. Then I'll be increasing it by 5 degree. Okay, let us see how to do it. So if you place the prism here, so your prism will be placed here. After putting the prism, you have to take 2 pins. Okay, this is one pin. This is one pin. Okay, these 2 pins I will be placing on this side of the prism. Okay, if I put the pins on this side of the prism, you have to see the pins from the other face of the prism. So I'll be going through it. Okay, by using the protectors, firstly I have marked, we have to make one perpendicular line. As you can see, this is a perpendicular line. Then with respect to this perpendicular line, you have the angles 30. I have done 35 and I have done 40. So these are your angle of incidence. So what we have to see, the angle of incidence, we have to see what will be the angle of refraction. For that, what we have to do, you have to take these 2 pins. Okay, so you have to place one pin here. The second pin, you have to place it somewhere nearby to the prism. Okay, so these are the 2 pins that you have placed. So after placing the pins, we have to see what will be the refraction coming to the glass prism. Okay, let us see the refraction now. So you can see these 2 pins are placed. So this is the prism, I have placed it here. Then after placing the prism, we have to see the refraction. You see the pins are coming on this side of the face. So what we have to do, we have to relate this, the 2 pins that is coming on this face, you have to make it as a straight line. Okay, so suppose if I put it here, so you can see this is not straight. Bring more little bit this side. Okay, now you can see these 2 pins are coming as a straight line. So what you have to do, the third pin, okay, the third pin you have to place in a point such that the 3 pins comes in a straight line. So this is your pin. So you can see the 3 pins is coming in the straight line. So this is one more pin you have to place. Okay, so this is one more pin I have placed. So after placing the pin, you have to mark the 2 pins. Where you have placed these 2 pins, then you have to join the line with the respect to the base. So you can see these 2 pins I have one I have marked. The second pin I have replaced. This pin also I have marked. Okay, then these 2 pins you have to join with the base. So you can see this line I have joined with the base of the prism. So after joining with the base of the prism, what we have to do? You have to join this point and this point, that is the incident point and the refracted point or the emergent point. Okay, I will be joining this point now. Or else you can do one thing without joining this point, or you can do one thing, you can extend this incident ray as a straight line, then we'll be forming an angle, that is the angle of deviation. Let us see what will be the angle of deviation for this. As you can see, as I've completed the first diagram, that is for the 30-degree angle of incidence, angle of refraction. Don't forget to give this ray direction. Okay, so this is the ray direction. So you can see this incident ray and the refracted ray or the emergent ray, it is intersecting at a point after the extension. This extension point, okay, at which it is forming an angle, this angle is called as the angle of deviation. Okay, so we'll be marking this angle of deviation. Let us see what will be the angle of this. So as you can see it here, after placing the protector, I have placed the protector here. Okay, you adjust it. So after adjusting, see the angle of emergence. You can see this angle is coming at the angle of 40 degree. That means at 30 degree, your angle of refraction will be, or angle of not angle of refraction, angle of deviation will be your 40 degree. So you have to mark 30 degree for angle of 30 degree, that will be 40 degree. So for that, in that way you have to do for 35, 40, you will be going on that way. Okay, at last what we'll be doing, we'll be getting a graph. If you see the graph, so this is how the graphs look like. So what will happen as we increase the angle of incidence, okay, from 30 to 35, 40 to 45, it will be going on that way. So you can see this is the angle of incidence marking, this is the angle of deviation marking. So with respect to the angle of incidence, as you go on increasing, the angle of deviation will be going on decreasing. Okay, so let us see how does it decrease. Okay, you can see for the second one, where for the 35 degree, if I mark the angle of deviation, I have done it. So the angle of deviation, okay, you can see the angle of deviation we have got as 38 degree. That means firstly it was 40, now it has come as 38 degree. So you can see the value is going on decreasing. So this way your values will be going on decreasing. Then at last what will happen, if you see the value here, so after some time, after reaching a certain angle, it will be stop decreasing, then it will be start increasing. Okay, at the point where the value of deviation starts increasing, this point is called as the angle of minimum deviation. So our main practical is mainly to determine the angle of deviation from the graph. So this is the angle of minimum deviation. So that angle of minimum deviation will be getting around 47 degree. So this is how we have to do the graph. Okay, so if you see the observation now, so these are the observations you can see. So angle of incidence we have marked 30, 40, 45, 50, 60, you can do it. I have done it for the different angles. The angle of deviation you can see 43, 39, 37, 38, 42. Okay, so this is marked as a different angle, so I am doing it for a different angle. So this is how we have to, the angle of prism also you remember, it is of 60 degree. Okay, this is a fixed angle for the equilateral triangle prism. So this way we have to do the observation table and you'll be getting a graph. Okay, so this will be your graph. These are the two observations that you have to do. Okay.